Okay, now that we've spent the last couple of weeks organizing our photos, generically organizing our photos by album layout, we're going to take all of that work we've done and we're going to put it into practice by creating a holding album. Now the idea behind a holding album is to put everything together so that when you're actually ready to scrap, you just have to go to one place and you can get started on your project right away. It also keeps you chronologically focused so you can build pages in a chronological order so that they're going to fit into your album correctly. And it also really helps when you're doing multiple albums. So as you already know, I do an album for myself and I do one for each of my sons. So today I'm going to use the example of summer of 2004, which is my next project to tackle, as I set up the holding album for the events in that summer. So I'm going to go right to my photo storage box that's labeled Ready to Scrap 2004. And when I look in there, I see that there are three big file folders for this summer. There's the summer snapshots, which is kind of all the things that happened during the summer, maybe not main events. Then we went to Orlando, so I've got a folder for Orlando. And then, of course, my son London's birthday is in July, so he's always in the summer pictures, obviously. My very first holding album was simply done in an 8.5 by 11 notebook. I don't know if you can see in the video how sort of beat up it is. I used it for years. But I applied the same principles that I'm going to show you, just using pocket pages from the photo store that had different size pockets and configurations. So you can absolutely do that as well if you're not using a scrap rack or if you scrapbook 8.5 by 11. So when I started using this system, I was using 8.5 by 11 albums, and so this fit perfectly for that. Now, of course, I've changed to 12 by 12, which is probably the more common size now, and so I needed a bigger holding album to accommodate bigger things. The other thing about going with a bigger format is that it's easier to do the page layouts, and I'm going to show you that in the super site, this perfect 6 pages. One of the other things that I did put in here, though, was I had this oversized manila envelope so I could put big pieces of memorabilia, you know, like awards or certificates or those kind of things that wouldn't fit in an 8.5 by 11 pocket page. And to add this in, I just took one of these ring binder insert strips. You've seen them on our website, I'm sure. You've heard me talk about them and other things. I know they're one of my favorite things. I just stuck that on there, and then I was able to put that envelope right there in the back of my holding album, and so I could put bigger things in there. But when I was ready to go to a proper class or even work at home, I could just pull this album off the shelf and get right to whatever I was working on. So you can do it in a smaller size. Let's get started with the larger format. In my photo storage box, which I've been working on over the last couple of weeks through project organization, I've got everything organized, ready to scrap for 2004. I've got 3 file folders in here for summer. I've got General Summer, I've got a special trip we took to Orlando, and those are all together. And then London's birthday, my older son's birthday, is in July, so he's right there in summer as well. Now I'm going to start with that basic summer folder, and I'm just going to pull it out. One of the things that's really important is to avoid overwhelming yourself, right? So you don't want to pull out all 3 of your summer folders at this point, because then you're just going to end up with stuff all over your desk. Like everything else, my mantra, work in small batches. So when it's small and controllable, you feel like you can get it done, you can stay focused and get everything exactly how you want it, and then you can move on to that next folder. Now the nice thing about setting up a holding album is if you go into the box and you find things that maybe fit in a different place chronologically, it's super easy to slide those into the right place. So if you're one of those people who likes to work through things in a chronological order, this is a perfect solution for you to put everything together, and then as you come across other things, you just add another page in the middle and you're able to keep things going in chronological order. So I'm going to close up my box right here so that I don't get distracted looking in there. That's another thing that happens, is you start looking at pictures and all of a sudden you're absorbed in the moment and sort of reliving those wonderful experiences, and you blow all your scrapbooking time. What I want you to do is just take out that one folder that you're going to start with, open it up, and go through each pile of pictures, sorting them into layouts. So that's where the perfect 6 page is going to serve you well. So the very first thing, now remember, we sorted these. I do those multiple albums, one for each of us. So I have different piles for my album, London's album, Max's album, or all the pictures from that event with a note that says you need to do these for each album. So this particular one says Max's 6th birthday, 2 sets of pictures, one for Max, one for Mom. And so when I go into this little note, I'm going to find that I have 2 complete sets of pictures from Max's birthday. It was not an exciting birthday. And in fact, I have this little note jotted down right here about Max's 6th birthday. And it says, Max opted out of a big event. He just wanted to play video games and watch movies with his friends. So it has a list of the kids that slept over and the fact that he wanted a cupcake cut instead of a big cake. And so for all the pictures I have for little Max's 6th birthday, they're just this little stack. So I've got the duplicates of each picture, and it's super easy to sort now. All I'm going to do here, it looks like, is just maybe a 1 layout or a 2-page layout for Max's little 6th birthday. Probably 2, just because, I don't know, it's a kid's birthday, so you feel like you should have more, right? So what I've got is a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pictures from Max's birthday. So I have 1 pile for me and 1 pile for Max. So I'm going to sort mine. These are cupcake pictures, Max's birthday cupcake right here. And then I've got gifts and friends. So now I've got 2 layouts for Max, for me. Now I'm the top row, obviously, of the Perfect 6 because I'm the top dog as the super mama for my boy. So I've got those 2 layouts for Max's birthday. And then the same, I'm going to do similar layouts right in Max's page, cupcake and friends. Now I've also got this little journaling note about him not wanting to have a big party. So I'm going to be able to just take that note, fold it in half, pop it right in there with the pictures. So now I've got a double page layout for me of Max's birthday and a double page layout for Max of Max's birthday. And right here I also have my handy dandy sticky notes. So if it was unclear to me who those pictures were for, or I wanted to make sure because I can't remember everything, then I'm just going to write a little note. Max's album. And I'm going to put that right here on the flap so that the actual sticky note is halfway into the flap, but the sticky part is on the flap. So you can see I've just got it there. So I know that these are for Max and these are for me. Okay. Some albums, some pictures are a little bit more complicated, or I'm working with multiple, like 3 instead of 2. So traditionally, because I do 3, it's Mom, London, who's the older son, and Max at the bottom. But in this particular one for Max's birthday, I'm not doing any pictures for London's album. Or I may have already done pictures for London's album because there aren't any in here. And so you remember as we sorted, I had made the list of who I'd done which layouts for. And so I know confidently everything in here needs to be scrapbooked, and that I've done pictures for other people if they're not in here. So now I'm ready to move on to the next set of pictures in my file folder. So this is from a charity event that we went to. It was an auction where local architects created playhouses, and they were just really cool. And so in here I've got not only pictures of the playhouse, which happens to look like a rocket ship, I've also got some, other memorabilia and write-ups, who the architect was, them actually bringing that playhouse to our house. But as I get to the bottom of the pile here, I've also written myself another little note that says, don't forget this Space Monkey paper and embellishments. So while I was out shopping, I found some perfect paper and embellishments to go with these pictures on 2 counts. 1, the rocket ships on the paper looked just like the rocket ship playhouse that I bought. And 2, it was all done with monkeys. And I have called my children the monkeys from birth, essentially. So it was the perfect paper for me. But obviously, I can't store 12 by 12 paper in here, and I want to be able to find it when I need it. So I just put a note right in with the pictures that said, don't forget this Space Monkey stuff. So I've got my pictures and my memorabilia and my little journaling notes and everything right here. And I'm going to sort those pictures. I'm going to take a new Perfect 6. Now, even though I haven't filled this Perfect 6 up for all the pockets of it, each event is going to get their own series of pages. And that really allows you to add things in. So if I put some pictures in the bottom of this and then some pictures in the top of this from this event, and then I found an event that happened in the middle, then I would have to go back and take those pictures out. So if you just keep a set of perfect 6 pages and the doubles and the supers so you can lay out each one, and they're just reusable, right? Once I do these, I'm just going to put the empty pages in the back of my holding album so I can reuse them or pull them out as I actually need them. So I've got a new perfect 6 here, and again, I'm going to do pictures for each of my kids' albums about this. Now, I'm going to get the bigger pictures, you know, the most pictures of it. They don't really, they're not really, you know, they're not as excited about it as I was. So I've got the layouts, and it's just a single page layout for each of the albums, but I've got the pictures here. So I've got Mom's pictures, and I've got a set of pictures for London's album. And I've got that set of pictures for Max's album. Now here's where the double extra long comes in. I've got some memorabilia from that event, right? That won't fit in this 4x6. But I'm just going to take that double extra long page and I'm going to put the memorabilia right into those pockets. Now I'm just going to put some in the top and some in the bottom so it's really visible and easy to see. It's really pretty thin, but again, this is just something that you're reusing, right? So you really want to see what you've got. So now when I'm ready to scrap this event, I've got the pictures and I've got the memorabilia all ready to go. And I'm going to come right over here. I'm going to flip to the space section. I know, a space section, right? But I have a space section because I have boys who love space. And there's that monkey paper that I bought just for this, just for these pages. So I'm going to pull that monkey paper and stickers out of there. And I have some other space things in my scrap rack. If I didn't have other things in there other than the Space Monkey supplies, then I could just take that whole super single right out of my scrap rack. But since it's got other stuff in it, now there's a pack of stickers in there as well. So those could actually go in a smaller pocket page. But what you don't want to do is actually just load up your holding album with tons and tons of pockets and things to sort through. So I've got kind of that whole Space Monkey collection together. Now I've got my photos, my memorabilia, and my Space Monkeys all together and ready to go. So, and then I'm just going to continue through with my file folders the same way. So each event sorted by the kid, my album, and the kids' album, including the photos and memorabilia, and including any special supplies that I've purchased to go with those particular things. Now I can throw away my Space Monkey note because I've got those Space Monkey stuff all right in there and ready to go. So I'm just going to work through my photo storage box, putting all of summer of 2004 together into that holding album. Now, once I've done each of the sections for that holding album, that's where the dividers come in. So then I'm going to take my dividers, and again, I'm going to just use a sticky note on the divider to write on it what is what. So this is rocket, ship, and I'm going to stick it on the divider rather than actually labeling the dividers each time and having to clean them off or put another sticker over the top of them. So the sticky note and the pen is really part of the success of your creating your holding album. And so then I have Max's birthday. So that's going to be the next one. I'm just going to label that Max's birthday or Max's 6th birthday. Now you'll notice I didn't pull any birthday things out of the birthday section to work on Max's 6th birthday. Well, the reason for that is you only want to include things in your holding album that are unique to that layout. So now I've got the Max's birthday tab. So I'm going to put that tab right here in Max's birthday. And so now I've got a good start on this summer of 2004 holding album. Well, it's kind of wonky, right? So now I need to hold it together, and all I'm going to do is take an extra binder, and I'm going to build this holding album on this binder. So divider goes in, Now the dividers act like the pages to a book. So I keep a full set of dividers with my holding album supplies, and I always have one at the back and the front just to protect those edges and corners and photos and all that stuff. So I've got all my pages here. I'm just going to load them quickly onto this binder. And then I'm going to take an extra divider and I'm just going to put it on the back so it just kind of protects what's in there. And when I start the next category then, I'll be able to label that and build that next category in there. Now also at the back, before I close this up, at the back I've got my extra pages. So any extra perfect 6, double extra long pages that I've just got those linked in here. And then I've got another divider. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in there. So now as I work through my holding albums in my summer of 2004, I've got all the pages that I need and the dividers that I need. I've got my pen and my sticky notes that I can just throw right into one of the pocket pages if I don't have this stored in a travel pack. But now I've got everything I need right at my fingertips and I'm ready to scrap. Whether I'm scrapping at home, in which case you can take your holding album and you can just put it right onto your scrap rack, and then you can go through it there and pull the things out so it's not on your desktop. You can also store it right in a travel pack, which is where I usually keep mine. The nice thing about this is, obviously, going to a crop art class is really simple. You don't have to dig through photos. You don't have to search for memorabilia or special things. You know they're all there. But the other nice thing about it is, if you need to buy supplies for a particular event, or you want to buy something that carries through the whole summer, you can just take that holding album with you to the scrapbook store, and you're going to buy things that you really need and that you really want and that really match your pictures, and then you can just put them right in there and you're just ready to work. So it really does make it simple. The other thing is, once you've completed all your layouts that are in here, you may have some memorabilia or some photos that you didn't use, but you know you can confidently throw that stuff away because you've completed the work of that particular theme, holiday event, whatever it is, in your album. So you're just ready to go. So just a super simple way to keep everything together, organized, and ready to scrap. You can do it in a 12 by 12 format like this using the scrap rack pages, or you can do it in an 8.5 by 11 format if you're still scrapbooking an 8.5 by 11 size. And either thing is going to make it so simple to actually get more done and feel more organized and less overwhelmed. Thanks so much for joining me and learning how to take all the hard work that you've done sorting your pictures and now transferring that work into a holding album so you can actually be really productive when you actually have time to sit down and scrapbook. Have a great week, and I'll look forward to talking to you again next week. For those of you who are interested in putting together your holding album in the 12 by 12 format, I'll just recap real quickly what I used. I used a Spinder, and those come in sets of 2 on the website, of course. But in terms of the pages, I used the super size single page, the double extra long page, and the perfect 6 page, and then one set of the dividers is what I use. Now, when you go to the website, there is a set of pages put together. It's called the Memory Maker's Page Kit, and it has the dividers and all the pages. It actually has 2 sets of the perfect 6 page, so I think that totals out at like 120 layouts that you can put in those pockets in the perfect 6 pages. So that is available on our website as the Memory Maker's Page Kit. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to Project Organization. I hope you have a great morning or afternoon or whatever it is, wherever you are. And I hope you'll come back and share some of your time with me again another day.